there. So the easiest way that I would kind of describe some of the stuff with Toolkit is it's a program that does a whole lot. It's a comparative market analysis, and it's a great way to make a myriad of things that you can take to your clients. So there's everything from buyer tours to buyer-only presentations to generic listing presentations. And the easiest way definitely to go about making all of these type of things is to have all of your photos ready with you and to have your listings that you're going to be using prepared for you, because it's going to want you to upload various things, and you're able to like add armlets to it, and you can sign into armlets and everything like that. But it's easier, so for when it's ready for the photos and stuff like that, it's definitely easiest if you actually have the photos already ready. That way you can just upload them. Yeah, so again, I'm going to kind of take you guys through making an actual listing presentation right now. And then afterwards, we can kind of see how it looks. We can see some of the options with it and things. Feel free to ask any questions. Some of you guys, Cindy, actually, Debbie would probably be a good one. You actually might use this more than I do, simply because I'm not an active agent. So I use it and I play around with it and I go to the seminars and everything like that. But if any of you guys have any insight because you're actively using it on the everyday, feel free to jump in with anything that you might have with that. Or if you have any questions or want to look at anything further, let me know. So this is going to be kind of free flowing. And you know how I am. I'm pretty accessible. So let's get going.
Acceptable?
Accessible.
Oh, accessible. Okay.
Yes. You guys all know that I'm very accessible. You're able to ask me questions and reach out and all that stuff. So I've got a couple properties already kind of set up. I'm going to go ahead and hit create presentation. And even just from the get-go right here, similar to all of our other programs and really anything that's out there, everything works best if you're going to have it filled out with all of your information ahead of time. So up here on the top right, there's a myriad of options. There's an agent profile, web reviews, and agent photo, all that type of stuff. So it's always good to fill all this type of stuff out. I've got mine filled out at least a little bit. I've got a photo up there and everything, and all of this is used and automated into your presentation. So you want to have it filled out as much as you can, including it's good to add stuff like your resume. You can create QR codes and then add them to it. You're able to insert social medias and references and all that type of stuff, web reviews. Some of you guys have been doing this for a long time. And it's all automated, so you can just click on Zillow and then use your screen name and your email for it, and then it'll just import all of them to it. So you don't necessarily have to do too much with them. Google ID. So it's good to be utilizing all this because, again, similar to some of the stuff in Remax programs and Max Center and all that, as you use it, it actually filters its way down through the rest of it. So the more that you fill this out, the better your presentation is going to look. And then it's able to add all this to it. And we can customize all the pages and everything. So you can add personal pages to it that are going to come back. And that is a great thing that you can do. If you're part of our monthly meetings that you come to and stuff like that, you might see that we have things like the comparative brokerages stuff. So this program is going to have a lot of things built out that's like Remax versus the rest of the industry and those stats. But we actually break them down further, and we do like our power rankings and the top 100 and stuff like that. And then we actually have our various top 10 teams and agents from each office every month. And that'd be another great one that you can save it and then you can upload it to this. So you can show I'm one of the top 10 agents for this office type of thing. And they can live in it.
Where do we find those?
The top 10s and stuff?
All those, yeah, all the things that are on the slideshow and stuff. Yeah.
It's going to be up here on the top right where your name is. And then it's at the bottom where it says customize. So you click your name and then further down.
She's asking where the source is, right, Debbie?
Yeah, right.
So
at the last meeting, Mike said he was going to send all this stuff out to us, and I haven't seen it yet.
Me
Has
neither.
anybody
cool.
else?
We can get that today. We'll get that to everybody today. You're right. And actually, and I remember that, Cindy. So the source of all those would generally be Orlando. We might get some of the data and everything from elsewhere, and then Orlando will put the graphics together for us. So he should probably just actually have all those in a folder for us so we can shoot those out to everybody. But yeah, exactly. To your point, those exact things. We post the top 10s in the emails, and actually, I want to say the front desk should be sending them out as well. We get the breakdown every month and stuff like that, but we'll be making sure I'll actually step in on that and make sure that we send it out for everybody so that you guys can access that, because this is a great thing to include that with. The breakdown of.
Yeah, well, I got the top 10 on Facebook and everything. I got it emailed to me, but like the other things, like where Remax professional ranks.
Right. Yeah,
then-
that's what they're supposed to be sending.
Yeah, well, and none of it ever comes out. And if
Yeah,
we-
I
I'd love to
don't
be able to use
currently
it.
have it, but I will get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care about the top 10 since I'm not on it.
Yes.
Well, I care about the stats. But
Yeah, exactly. You care about the what the good one was, our brokerage versus the other brokerages in the state.
Yep.
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
should be, why is there not somewhere in Sky Slope that stuff is uploaded?
It
So we
may.
can go and get it when we need it?
Actually, you know what? I think it should be. You're right. So I don't actually have access to SkySlope simply because I don't have the numbers for it and everything like that. You have to be an active agent or a broker to do it. But you are correct. Actually, I think it should be in the file section within SkySlope under the brokerage. Let me double check with Shannon and Kim immediately after this, and then I'll get them sent out to everybody.
Thank you.
No problem. Because
When I go to do this, I go to look for this stuff and I can never find any of it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, so even to Tanya's point, she said they're in SkySlope, and they should be under the brokerage and under the file section.
I couldn't find them. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll get them over to them. If able, I'll try to send them all out, and then maybe we can even do like a video showing where they're at in SkySlope.
That would be great.
Cool. I will make a note of that. Let me write that down.
That way I can customize a page.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, because that's a great one to add to. Sky Loop forms. Okay, cool. Good suggestion.
Thank you.
Perfect. And so yeah, to my point, you were able to add them in here. You can do it so that they're permanent, or you can add individual pages when you are just using the program. You can do cover photos. You can change document areas. So if you're doing a quick market analysis or a full listing one, we can change up and down for them all. We can change the section of them. It's pretty customizable. It's really nice that a lot of this stuff is pretty built out for us. So it doesn't take too terribly much work, and a lot of it is just automatically pulled from various areas. But we are able to reorder them. We can customize each part of it, and then even going through, you'll see after I upload the photos or upload any of the MLS data, I can still go in and add stuff to it or change anything that I need to. So I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna do a general listing presentation. So this first page is all the ones that are going to be included in the presentation. And again, these are all already pretty much built out. A lot of them are pulling from all kinds of different places. And the ones that are checked off are going to show that are the automated ones. Those are the default. And I can actually re-click new ones and then hit set as default. And that will be my new default for in the future. I am also able to click this button up here and select all, deselect all of them. And if I click it again, it'll just go to my original default selection. So there's a myriad of options for these. And then if you wanted to kind of see what some of these are, you can actually click it and it'll give you a good little preview right there. So if you're not sure to include it or not, you can look them over. So here's some of the stuff that's included with it. 10 consecutive years of worldwide growth. Actually, probably don't need that. Here's some of the Remax versus the industry that we've talked about before. And it'll have the comparables. Again, I'm pulling all this from MLS. And then your other sections that you can add. So your Zillow reviews, and this is where I was mentioning that it pulls automated ones. So if I have it pulling my Zillow stuff or my Google data, then it'll automatically put it on there in the review section at the end of the listing. My social media that I haven't uploaded yet, but it'll have them. And this is created in PDF. So all of these are clickable. So it'll all create clickable links that you're then able to send to people. They're able to look over, and you will also be saving it. And then the conclusion. And again, I can add any pages or reorder any. I mentioned that you were able to add ones individually for just this one. I can do that here. So if I wanted to, I could actually upload that PDF or that image and the ones that Debbie and Cindy wanted, and then it would just be included in only this presentation, not any of the other ones. So if you were only top 10 for this month type of thing and not next month, you could include this month in your presentation. Cancel, and then moving on, I'm just going to go to next. The date is fine, I think. Yes. Then this is the prospect's name, if I recall. Yep. I'm going to do it. Or my wife. And then I'm going to
Is that your alter ego?
That's my wife. I've already made so many that are test ones and that are demo ones on here that have her name on it, though, that I keep having to rename it every time. So at some point, it's just going to be CT. And then I automatically added the property stuff in. The cover letter salutation will be Timmons. And then we'll put a zip code. And you can add that, you can save this so that it's a saved prospect, so you can create new stuff for them later. You can hit reset. You can actually use the last person that you made a listing presentation for. So maybe you've got a picky buyer. Maybe you got a picky buyer that you're doing a couple of these for. That's one to look at a whole bunch of different houses. So you can just click use last person that you did it with, and it'll automatically fill all that in. Looks good. So this is the cover letter. And again, a lot of this stuff is just going to be stocked out and built out, but we can change any parts of it that I want. I am the best qualified to market your home. You better believe it. And then I can create all of these as a default and use them later. I can preview any of this at any point. If I hit preview, it'll give me a nice little preview of it. Ta-da. It's got my you better believe it. So looks good to go. Hit next. All right. So here is where you're going to add the property details. Your two options are to add it to your own or to use Armless. So with Armless, there is download guides for all of it. And they actually work. I followed it and I was able to do it. And it is like pretty much to the letter. So I just followed it step by step, and then was able to download and everything that I need to. It's pretty easy. Basically, you go into Armless, and then you choose the property, or you find the property that you want to do anything with, and then you export it out. So I found my 3 properties that I'm going to be looking at, and then I just went up here and clicked these 3 buttons and hit export, and then I was able to export all of them out. And I did make sure to use some of our listings. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I can upload the files here. And then if I wanted to hit cancel, or I can hit manual entry, and then I can just start doing it by hand. So if you're doing it by hand, this is very much what it's going to look like. And that's not that bad. If you got something up like one of the pages for it, it's not bad. You could just go through and copy and paste everything as you would need to. But you'd have to have all this memorized. And things like the remarks are perfect to grab from MLS. So you can just copy and paste it. So again, it's pretty easy to kind of work your way through that. And then you've got you have to upload all the photos and everything like that. So I'm actually going to hit cancel. And then I'm going to upload them through right here. hit connect MLS. So it's already connected. I don't need to. I'm going to hit this button and they're going to download as a Microsoft Excel. I believe I want this one. Hit upload. They all upload pretty quick. And here we go. So you're going to want to click on the two that we're looking at. And those will be our comparables. And then we'll call the first one the main one that we actually want to buy. And again, I can edit any of these at any point. I can click on it and see what all was imported from Armlist. It looks like all the info is correct. It's already all filled out. So that looks great. I can go in here and I can manually change anything that I want to, but I don't really think I need to do that. No exposure, photos, etc. So they look good. I'm gonna get these, click that. I can delete any of these, I can change any of them. I'm gonna hit next. And then here's where I can hit edit the summary of the CMA fields. So this is everything from the city and all of the other information that was pulled from Armlist that's going to be showing right away. So this is for the CMA part. Again, this is for the comparing analysis to the other properties. So it's just going to be looking at the addresses, the neighborhoods, and all that. I can add any parts of it that I want. I can take any other parts of it that I want out of it. Let's maybe add, for funsies, we'll add zip. I'm going to move it up right underneath address. And then I'm going to hit done. I can again set these as my default so that it uses that every time. I can hit a preview. There we go. So it's looking like it's the average of these two properties.
I'm sorry, Alex, but is this automatic or is this what you just uploaded?
This is what I just uploaded, and then it actually automatically goes through all the data. Huh.
But you uploaded 2 properties though, and you go back to the previous 2 pages.
I was only doing it for 2.
Okay, and then do what the next step that you did. All of those properties, how do they come up with?
Oh, so that was just because that's a generic preview. So when I actually hit the preview of my settings right here, then it actually shows it.
Oh.
Yeah, so here, I'll click the third one, and then we can look at all 3. And then when I hit next, so again, these are just all, this is just a generic one example. And then if I hit preview, now it's actually got my 3. So it's got the average of the 3 properties, the minimum, max, as well as the median of them. And it's got their listing prices and the various other, sorry, I just blanked on the word for these. The other parts of the house that we're looking at. So again, I can add, let's see if we want to add.
Okay, what did you just push to add more fields?
The edit button right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So if
That
I
would
click,
make sense.
yeah. So
Okay,
I'll click this
edit.
edit button right here, and then I'm able to add new ones.
Okay.
And then once I add the new ones, I would click done, or I can click set as default. And again, that'll make it my default. These look fine. I'll just keep the 3 that I have. So we got the average price and the currently on the market. And then we can, the new one is create a tablet presentation. So some of you guys I know like to work on your tablet as well as use it for various things. And you might have clients that do as well. I like to hit that include tablet presentation just because it's no skin off my hide. It's literally not going to be any different. It just then formats it so that you can send it to them both. And then I'm going to hit create presentation. Taking a sec to load it all out, but it's putting everything together. Looks like it's done. All right. And it saves it for 6 months. So you've got them for a while. I can save the photos for faster use later. I'm just going to go ahead and hit save as they are. All right. So Now it's got all the details that I want. I've got the selected pages for it. I'm able to look at it. I can do a view of the entire thing. Oh, I don't know if you saw that or not. I can look at the tablet versions of it. Let's do new share. If I click the tablet, it wants you to do that. I can click the view PDF and see what it actually looks like. Got my info looking good. All that. Got our Remax versus the industry. Looks pretty good. Not seeing any major issues. I see my name and everything has been uploaded correctly to the bottom. I see the correct logo. I see my photo. This is just talking about more stuff that Remax does. A lot of it is just showing how it versus the industry compares, pricing your home. Compared to, here's the CMA for the actual ones that are within the area. And again, it could look a much more built out if I actually put anything that was within the area, or if I put more of the, what's the word, features, there we go, more of the features of the homes. And then it shows the map of the comparable properties. So there's the map of the one that I actually put in for her, of where she lives. And then I actually put the 3 properties that we were looking at. And it's pulled the 3, as well as all the MLS data. I can look at it as a bit more of a graph area. Got average and low prices, average days on market and year built. And then some tips. And then it works its way down to the bottom. And again, if I would have filled any of this out, it would have showed. And my options for sharing this are everything from save it to Zoom meeting to share and text. The Zoom one's kind of funky. So it'll send it and then they're able to Zoom with you afterwards. So it'll actually email them the listing presentation so that they're able to look it over with your Zoom open, and then you're able to schedule it in and then it'll be attached to your meeting. So that way you're able to basically note it and look at it and see what all you want to do with it. And then it sends it as an email as a nice little package. So that's kind of cool. I can text it just for funsies. I'm actually going to text it to Chelsea.
Huh.
She's going to be really confused. There we go. I sent it to her. And then again, I can hit save. So that's probably what the most of you guys are going to do is just hit save and then you can show it. And then I'll hit home. This is the end of this section. And I can see it right here. It is 11:10, 10:23. Interesting that the time is an hour early. I can look at each version of it. I can edit them. I can hit the PDF of them. I can email them out from here. Give it a look, just making sure it's good. Looks good. And it's going to be a really similar process for any of the listing presentation type of things that they do. So it'll be the same thing for any of these pre-listing ones, for any of the collection buyer ones, quick market analysis, all that. So again, the easiest way that I would recommend is having your exports already done. Otherwise, you are able to do it and do it at that time. It's just a little bit easier. But it's really going to be a series of just uploading the information that it's able to automatically pull. And then as well as if you don't have that, then it's just manually going through and filling everything in, which again, is not that bad. If you're sitting there with Armless or even just your listing page open, it's already going to have all that for you. So you'll just be able to copy and paste it. So it's really not too bad. The idea is that you aren't having to spend now hours and hours looking up a whole bunch of different data and stuff and putting this together on like Google Drive or trying to put this together in PowerPoint or anything like that. And it's a time saver and it's very professional looking. The fact that it comes in a really nice PDF that's all formatted and templated out is great because that eliminates the need for you to have to do any of that type of stuff. Any questions yet? Anybody want to see anything? What are we thinking? Is anybody feeling comfortable with it? I know
Just
that you guys.
a tip, I printed out, yeah, First American Title has some really inexpensive printing. So I printed out like the portions of the presentation that I would be using every time. So I have packets already and I just need to do the personalization part.
Cool. Genius.
So
do you do you
yeah,
make
that's
this?
the first time I've ever been called a genius. Thanks.
Well, you're doing what I mentioned, where you're finding additional pages that you like, and then you're adding them to it at the time. So with those pages, do you make your listing presentation and then print it and then go and do a print presentation, basically?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's the type of thing too, that if those First American Title pages that you mentioned, if you get the digital versions of them, we are able to then put them in here so that they stay in your presentation forever. And then just from now on, whenever you print your listing presentation, it'll just be a part of it.
Okay.
Cool. So I'm more than happy to help you out with that if you'd like some time.
Thank you.
No problem. But to your point, so this is why this is perfect for things like that, because it eliminates some of the need to go and have to find that type of thing everywhere. Because if we were trying to find all of the data for it, as well as the comparative stuff between the other brokerages and everything, it would just be a pain. And you'd be looking through so many different places and asking so many different people. Instead, this is a nice way that it's all bundled in a singular program that we're able to access pretty easily. Okay, let's go ahead and create a property flyer real quick. And there's a ton of different options for them. So just right off the bat, I can see a ton of different things. It's kind of goofy, the names for them. And you can favorite all these so that you can go and use them later. I just like that they're called things like the Worcester and the Donegal. Use the Radcliffe for no other reason than the name. So I, again, already downloaded a singular property for this. So I am going to hit get listing and then choose the file for it. And Jan, I love that you're on here because I think I have one of your listings.
You do? I saw it. I actually was texting my client right now saying, guess what? I'm in a class and your listing just flew up, because I was just getting ready to tell her, like, your listing's live this morning, and then it flew up. I'm like, okay, it's there.
Okay, cool. So I was going through and I pulled a couple of Nate's listings because I've been playing around with this for a while now. And I've done these before with just generic listings that I've found on Armlist. But I was like, I'm going to get our listings for our presentation, and because I'm not just playing around with them. So I went through and got 2 of Nate's listings. And then I just went to our office and I just found kind of the closest listing to those 2 and clicked it and started using it. And then after I'd used it, I went all the way down to the bottom and I was like, whose is this anyway? And I saw Vern. I'm like, oh, he doesn't care.
No, we don't mind.
Yep. So yeah, that's very funny and befitting that you're on here, because using yours. Sorry. All right. So again, I mentioned that you would get the file of just the listing itself. So I went in and I found the actual listing on MLS, and then I hit export. And then Jan, because it's her listing, she actually got the photo packet download ability. So I want to say they email it to you after you upload everything into it, and you can download all the photos, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I don't have that ability. So I had to go through and just download all the photos on my own, because it wants a zip packet of them. So when you're uploading, it wants you to do the CSV of all the info for it that I put up, and then it also wants a zip file of photos. So you guys actually get that because when you put your listing up, it emails you that packet, that zip file of photos. I had to make my own. It's okay, but
I don't know what packet you're talking about.
I want to say, well, and that's what. So I thought that when you uploaded an ARM that it's supposed to give you all of your listing photos in a zip file that you're able to download, or you guys at least then have the ability to go on and download them. Because I do not, since I'm not an active agent.
I've never heard of that packet thing either.
Okay, cool.
Me neither.
So I'll just look into it a little bit. So I know, so if you guys needed to get all of your photos for the listing, how would you usually go in here and download them, if I may ask?
Go back to the original source. I mean, because we're the ones that uploaded the pictures to begin with.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
They won't be on
exactly.
a zip file though.
What's that?
They will not be on a zip file though.
Right.
That's okay. So here, I'll actually show you how to make them into a zip file real quick. So when you get a ton of photos, so like I said, I went through and I actually downloaded all these earlier. So let's say you got a ton of photos right here that are just in a file. You'll actually just click each one, and you can either hold Control to click each one individually, or if you click the first one and then hold Shift and click the last one, it will get all of them at once. And then you just right click. Whoops. Then you just right click it and then hit send to and zip folder. And then it'll zip its own folder and send it all to it. I'm going to call it 2. And there we go. All right, and then I'll go in here, do this. Do this. Let everything upload. All right, and then there's all my info for it. And again, it's very similar to the last one. I can either click on it and look at everything. Looks good. Spacious townhome at Ste A-1 Peak. I can hit edit if I want to check any of this out. It looks good. I'm just going to hit cancel. And then I'm going to hit next. So I don't love that it's not showing very well. So I'm going to hit browse and I'm going to upload them on my own so that I know that they're for sure showing up. Yeah, see, there we go. So that first one didn't look great. So I'm going to do this just so that I can upload them a little bit. It does want that zip file though. So it's going to force you to do that. These ones. And again, like you said, you guys have the actual source for these. They're your photos. So this is going to be pretty easy. And you can choose whichever ones you guys want. Two. This one. And this bottom center, bottom right, and all that is actually where they're going to be on the flyer. So again, each flyer that you choose is going to have different positioning for everything. All right. And then a QR code. So I know that you guys have seen our QR codes on stuff. I know that they're used quite a bit for things. We like to use them for everything from like print to posters and stuff like that, because they're great because anybody can whip their phone out and kind of look at it. Would you guys like a quick how-to for Chrome for QR code?
Yes.
Okay. So for all of you guys that are using Chrome, and this is only for in Chrome, there are other ways to do it in other browsers, and there are websites that are like free QR code generator. But the super cool thing about Chrome is, and one of the kind of quick, easy things with it is that any web page that you're on, so I'm going to use it on Jan's listing page right here. I can right click it, and then Chrome actually has a create QR code for this page button. So then you just hit it, and it's already generated the QR code, and it's got the destination and the name and everything. We don't want to change the name because that actually changes where it goes to. And it gives you a fun little dinosaur in the middle of it right here. And then you just hit download. And then that downloads it right away. And then you have a QR code that you are able to send people to whatever page you want to.
So if you were to have a single property website and you're on Chrome, you do the same thing, just right click and create QR code and it'll take you right to that single property website.
Yep.
That's like magic.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's great. That's one of those, like, it's a little thing that if more people were aware of it, it is massively helpful for your business and for advertising and stuff like that. So for this one, for Toolkit, they'll actually make a QR that they're going to put into it. So all I have to do is upload the URL. So I'm actually uploading the URL for the listing page, and then it'll create its own QR for it. Does everything else look good?
Okay, you just lost me.
This is just for in Toolkit, Deb.
Okay, if you're in Toolkit,
Yeah, so see right here. So I'm making the property flyer, and then down at the bottom it says QR code right here.
right?
So it's going to generate its own on the flyer.
For the
Okay,
property.
so, okay, yeah, I understood that portion, but, okay, so the site is the site where that particular listing is. So again, if I wanted to have it go directly to a single property website, that's what I would put in there.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make
So-
sure I understood it. Okay,
Oh, you're great. Don't worry.
I understand it now.
You're great. Don't worry. All questions are great questions. So yeah, so I just grabbed this URL right here, and then I put it over right there. And then I'm going to hit create flyer. Same thing. It'll take just a second, but it'll do its thing. So I see it open the flyer automatically for me instead of asking any questions. There we go. Looks good. Got the lot number, all the information. And Jan, if you'd like, I can send this to you.
That'd be great. I'll send it to my client.
This is even, I've done
Alex's
that a
name
couple
on it.
times. What's
She
that?
goes-
Oh, it has my name. You're right. It has my name on it.
Oh, okay. She goes, oh, good. Tell all those realtors to hurry up and sell it for me.
So everybody, here you go. There's a townhouse 525 off of Central. Fantastic location.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So that looks good. I can download it and do whatever I want with it. And again, it'll save it. So it's going to save as the property name. I can rename it anything else that I wanted to. If I was doing more stuff for Chelsea, I can do a 3rd or 5th version of Chelsea Timmons.
Can you
Oh.
make any changes to that flyer? Like on the top, there was that big blank space. Could
You know,
put
I
like-
noticed that, and I think that was just because that was the actual style of flyer that I chose. I
Oh,
can hit create another flyer right here, and then I can do a better one. So for that, for the next one, actually, I'd probably do, no, that's a video. I don't want a video. Yeah, I chose one that I didn't put probably quite enough stuff onto it. It's kind of something like this. See like how much open space there is on this one.
So on these flyers, do we have the ability to change the top line, I guess?
No, probably not. I'm gonna go with the only thing that we can change in it is the actual body of it as well as the photos.
Okay,
Um,
so we
just
have to
because it-
choose, we have to choose one like for open house or for
Yeah.
sale or something like that. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why they have so many of these goofy ones that are the Oxford, the Dover, the Welton, the Kenton. Oh wow, this is like, they got like nothing going on this one. So here, let's see how fast I can make it. And see, there's no photos on this, so I can just do a listing file. So if you got one that you're a little worried about the curb appeal, you could just do some text-only flyers. Ta-da.
Okay.
Oh, here you go. Here's one I can send you because this doesn't have my name or anything on it.
Right.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It did at the bottom.
Is
On
it?
the left.
Yeah,
Where?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's all the contact info. Blah, 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 blah.
It's
But
okay.
yeah,
I've actually done these before. I like it. Great.
good. So yeah, it's pretty easy. And then again, from here, just like the listing presentation and all the other ones that you make, you can either save it, create another one, view it, send them out of myriad of ways. You can text it, email it. And then I can actually, for this one, it's got social media options as well. So you can post it to Facebook or Twitter. So there's a lot of stuff you can do on here. Again, this is kind of one of those programs that it's just good to go in and play around. It's cool. It's good to have a goal in mind with it. Like if you can go in and be like, okay, I want to do a listing presentation for this house today. That's good, but this shouldn't be something that you get sucked into for hours and hours. You don't want to be on here for probably any more than like maybe a half hour. And that's if you've got to like manually enter everything and stuff. But again, the more prepared you are for when you're going to make this, the easier it will be. But there's a lot of stuff you can do on here. When I hit go to, this is kind of just like a quick way to get the stuff. I can select properties and get property data. I can compose stuff right away, or I can just go to home. And then again, I can see everything that I've worked on recently at all. I've got recent shares. I see Chelsea hasn't opened it yet, so I'm going to go in the other room after this and yell at her about that.
Okay, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Okay, in order to make a flyer, do you have to have a listing kit done?
No, I don't believe so, because you can just manually fill everything out yourself.
You can. So like if you've maybe got a listing that is not an MLS yet and you want to get a flyer ready to go, you can do that first and you can upload everything. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you would just need to physically upload the photos and then like have the details like written down somewhere, and then you just have to type them up. But yeah, so that's what the kind of cool thing about this is, that you can either upload everything itself and then it'll actually pull all the data on its own, or you can just do it all manually like that. And you can do a little bit of both as well. Like I showed, you were able to upload all the information and all the photos and stuff, and then you can go in and actually add more things to it, all that type of stuff. So there's kind of a couple of options for it. Huh.
Alex,
Yes.
let's pretend we want to do a manual flyer. What button do we go to? Create a property flyer?
Did you want to do a property flyer or a manual presentation?
Create a
flyer.
property. Okay, so just go down to that. Okay, template, and then
Dang it. Keep pushing the video one just because it's the first one.
okay. Okay, doke. And then it.
So see, I can download the property data right here, and that's what I was doing, or you just manually enter everything.
Okay.
Okay, and we can enter whatever bullets we want.
Absolutely.
Photos. Okay. Boy, that
Alex,
was even laugh.
I have a question. When you,
Yes, Chris.
where is this located? I wrote the question there in the chat earlier.
Yeah, sorry. I was actually going to address that just out here and just going to say it. So Toolkit is not a Remax thing, so it's not in Mac Center, but we have it as a brokerage, so all of you guys have access to it. So I want to say you actually should already have it, and you should have already gotten an email saying that you're set up for it. If you haven't, I can literally go in and like send an email to you that says like welcome to Toolkit and all that type of stuff. So Chris, go ahead and if you want, search for it. If not, just to be safe, immediately after this, I'll just send you one so that you have access and everything.
And
Okay.
And we
I
pay
think
for it.
it's set up where in a month, if you use it during any month, you're charged $25, no matter how many times you use it. But then if there's a month you don't use it, you don't get charged, right? That's the way it was.
Right.
Yeah,
too low.
something like that, because we have like a deal as a brokerage. So if you were having to do this on your own, it would be much more expensive and it would be something that you have to sign up for. But we actually have it in-house so that you guys are then just able to be added to it and just use it at your own leisure and not have to worry about all that type of stuff. Not have to worry about the signing up for it and then like paying down payments and all that type of stuff. Cool. Any other questions? Cool. Hopefully you guys are feeling a little bit more comfortable with it, or at least more willing to go and poke around and play with it. Again, it is a pretty helpful tool. Maybe don't tell people that it looks awful and to go away. But you guys are better realtors than that.
It's actually very easy to use. Once you figure out how to download the stuff and save it, once you get into that, it's really easy to use. I had never used the flyer portion of it. I just used the listing. So I was glad to hear about the flyer stuff.
Cool. Yeah, play around with it. Let me know what you think of it, Deb.
Thank you, Alex.
Just one question, Alex.
What's up, Oscar?
On if I'm creating a presentation, do I always have to choose an MLS properties?
Oh, like you're trying to do it manually and say you want
Like, let's say sometimes the property doesn't have any comparables, just one of those. Then how do you, can you do it without it and just give your information?
Oh, yeah. So you would just go through and you would just do the manual portion of it. And then you would just not add any comparable properties. So all I did was I downloaded them and exported them from MLS and all that type of stuff. But you can literally just give a listing presentation without any comparable stuff. So it would still have all the Remax versus the industry things. It would have all your stats and it would have all the house info. It just wouldn't have comparable stuff for it.
Yeah, I was trying to do it, but I couldn't. Let me play around a little bit more.
Cool. Yeah. And if you need, you're absolutely welcome to reach out later on, Oscar.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Anything else?
Thanks, Alex. We learned something new every time.
Definitely.
Thank you, guys. And then I'm going to be here coming up. I'm going to be holding like a monthly. I'm going to be doing my own masterminds coming up where I'm going to actually I'll be in office and hosting and having people come in for mastermind stuff that are tech oriented. And I'm going to start doing some larger in-house and on Zoom things of like, come in and we can set your Google up together type of stuff. So keep an eye out for me. You're going to be seeing me around a little bit more often. And we're going to be doing some big pushes for getting everybody set up for some good tech stuff for the next year.
Good.
Thank you.
No problem. It was good to see everybody. Have a good Thursday and have a great weekend.
You too, and stay warm.
Thank you. Hey, have a good one, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.